Dave Mars and Jenny Mars, the couple who host the show Fixer Too Fabulous on HGTV, have been named as defendants in a current dispute. Fixer Too Fabulous is a popular series that originally debuted on HGTV in the year 2019. Heartwarming storytelling and breathtaking home makeovers were the primary factors that won over the hearts of viewers. The show was hosted by Dave and Jenny Mars, and it took place in Bentonville, Arkansas. The Mars couple lives and work in Bentonville, and they specialize in rehabilitating historic properties by combining classic allure with contemporary practicality. Nevertheless, in addition to the success of the show, despite its usually clean reputation, Fixer Too Fabulous has been involved in a number of scandals, including litigation and regulatory infractions, which have cast a shadow over its character. Come along with us as we explain the main reason why Fixer Too Fabulous was taken to court. Fixer Too Fabulous initially distinguished out due to its emphasis on community, as the Mars frequently collaborated with local homeowners to restore buildings that held sentimental importance. This was one of the reasons why the show was so popular. The combination of their dedication to their family and their faith, along with their enthusiasm for construction and design, has resulted in a devoted following for them. There was a renovation project that took place in 2018, which was one of the initial problems that surrounded Fixer Too Fabulous. For the sake of the show, Dana and Tyler Craddock commissioned Mars Construction and Mars Developing LLC, two companies that are owned by Dave and Jenny Mars, to perform renovations on their home. In May of 2021, the Craddocks filed a lawsuit alleging negligence and inferior craftsmanship, despite the fact that the refurbishment had been finished and had been aired on television. According to the records filed before the court, the Craddocks asserted that the Mars did not adhere to the standards of professional building, causing a considerable number of problems. A number of issues were brought to their attention, including incorrect wiring, which may potentially cause a fire, plumbing faults, appliances that were not placed correctly, and iron balconies that were structurally unsound. They asserted that as a result of these flaws, certain sections of the Mars did not possess the appropriate Arkansas contractor's license at the time of the restoration, which is a requirement that is inappropriate for projects of this nature. They also accused the pair of not obtaining the proper construction licenses, which added another layer of complexity to the matter. The Craddocks filed a claim for damages in the amount of $75,000 to compensate them for the inconvenience and the cost of repairs that were caused by the defective work. The lawsuit was eventually dropped in 2022, following the settlement that had been reached. Despite the fact that the specifics of the settlement are being kept hidden, the case has brought to light the possibility of supervision and regulation gaps for home improvement shows. During the year 2022, Dave and Jenny Mars were confronted with yet another legal problem, this time concerning a house that had been constructed by their construction company. Dave Mars, the proprietor of both Mars Construction and Jupiter Rentals, was the seller of the home that Matthew and Sarah McGrath acquired from him. Shortly after moving there, the McGraths started to become aware of a number of issues with the property, which ultimately led to them filing a lawsuit against the landlord. It was alleged by the McGraths that the Mars did not carry out the promised repairs and modifications. They assert that the house came with a great deal of flaws. In addition to structural problems, there were at least 21 violations of the building code. A number of the reported issues included flooring that was put improperly, roofing that was substandard, and insulation that was insufficient. Attempts made by Mars to remedy concerns were either insufficient or caused greater damage, according to the McGrath, which acknowledged that efforts were made. As a consequence of this, the McGraths are attempting to obtain compensation for the costs of repairs, which they estimate to be greater than $85,000. The matter was brought before a jury in September of 2024, and the Benton County Courthouse was the location of the trial, which lasted for 5 days. Concerns regarding quality control in projects related with Fixer to Fabulous have been brought to light as a result of the ongoing conflict. Mars have also been in difficulty with the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA), in addition to the lawsuit. Dave Mars and Jenny Mars were issued a fine of $35,000 by the United States Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) in January 2024 for breaking the rule regarding lead-in remodeling, repair, and painting procedures. Over the course of 2 different rehab projects that were shown on Fixer to Fabulous in 2018, the infractions were committed. According to the findings of the inquiry conducted by the EPA, the Mars did not comply with important standards that were supposed to avoid lead exposure. Among them were the failure to get a recertification before beginning the projects, the absence of a qualified renovator to supervise the work, and the failure to keep appropriate documentation to indicate compliance with lead-safe procedures. These kinds of failures can have major repercussions for one's health, particularly for small children and pregnant women, who are the most susceptible to lead poisoning. During the course of the settlement, the Mars agreed to make a public service announcement as well as a social media campaign with the purpose of educating viewers about the risks associated with lead-based paints and the significance of adhering to safety measures all during the remodeling process. Despite the fact that the couple's attempts to raise awareness were welcomed, the incident demonstrated the dangers that are linked with the rapid-fire restoration projects that are frequently carried out for television. In the event that a member of the cast exits a popular show, it frequently prompts inquiries regarding the dynamics that occur behind the scenes. It was about this time in 2022 when Chase Looney, the lead carpenter on Fixer to Fabulous, abruptly left the show, just as the show was facing legal issues. A fan favorite ever since the show's start, Chase's friendly nature and skilled handiwork had made him a beloved figure over the years. There were reports that suggested that Chase's resignation was due to personal issues, most notably his divorce, which pushed him to choose his family over the severe demands of television production. It became more difficult for him to maintain a balance between the demanding schedule of a high-profile show and his personal commitments, which ultimately led to his choice to move away from the show. The dynamic of the show was significantly altered as a result of Chase's departure. Furthermore, he contributed more than only his technical expertise to the team, as he was well known for his remarkable skills and distinctive personality. The heartwarming appeal of the show was enhanced by his on-screen presence and the friendship he shared with the cast. He made significant contributions that were crucial in the creation of a one-of-a-kind charm that resonated with viewers. In spite of the fact that Dave and Jenny Mars have continued to offer spectacular restorations, lifelong fans continue to sense the hole that Chase has left behind. During the year 2024, another cast member left the show abruptly. A competent carpenter who had been on the show on multiple occasions, Joe Looney was Chase's father. He was also a frequent character. In the final episode of the 5th season, Joe made the announcement that he would be leaving Fixer to Fabulous. This became an emotional moment for the cast as well as for the viewers. According to the narrative, his leaving was a personal decision, with the intention of concentrating on other projects and spending more time with his family. In light of the close-knit nature of the crew and the father-son interaction that had been a much-loved component of the series, Joe's departure was especially heartbreaking. Fans voiced their appreciation for Joe's achievements and wished him the best of luck in his career and other interests in the future. Joe's absence had a significant impact on the show because, in addition to his technical expertise, his wisdom and comedy contributed to the show's appeal. Discussions have been prompted over the changing dynamics of the program and its capacity to adjust to changes in its core staff as a result of the departure of both members of the Looney family. Fans are still holding out hope that Fixer to Fabulous will continue to be characterized by a spirit of selflessness and loyalty to the team. Fixer to Fabulous has been subjected to criticism for pushing exaggerated images of house repairs, in addition to the legal and regulatory issues that have been raised. It has been argued by viewers and professionals in the industry that the show's emphasis on luxury designs and high-end finishing establishes expectations that are unrealistic for the typical homeowner. The budgets that are offered frequently do not accurately reflect the costs that are incurred in the actual world, as critics point out. This leads to misunderstandings about what is possible under the conventional restrictions of financial resources. There have also been concerns raised over the depiction of the procedures involved in building. The show's fast timeframes and seemingly scant planning raise questions among industry professionals about whether or not they jeopardize the quality and safety of the refurbishment being performed. As an illustration, fans pointed up in an episode from Season 5 that gas lanterns were installed in an excessively close proximity to the house, which created the possibility of a fire hazard. This kind of situation has contributed to the growth of distrust regarding the dependability of the showcase projects. Despite the fact that criticisms of this nature are typical in the home repair genre, they have contributed to the increased scrutiny that surrounds Fixer to Fabulous. Dave and Jenny Mars have not wavered in their commitment to their purpose of revitalizing historic homes and providing support to their community, despite the difficulties they have now encountered. The couple has addressed some of the concerns by making public declarations and taking corrective actions, and they have stressed their dedication to transparency and progress. In addition to this, they have broadened their efforts beyond the show. Engaging in charitable endeavors and lobbying for adoption and care for orphans are two examples of such activities. The Mars have been able to maintain a dedicated fan base thanks to their dedication to their art and ideals, despite the fact that the disputes have likely resulted in a negative influence on their reputation. The future of Fixer to Fabulous will be determined by the couple's capacity to strike a balance between providing entertainment and being accountable for their actions as the legal processes progress and as they adopt modifications to ensure compliance with regulations regarding the show, through openness and honesty. The Mars have the ability to regain audiences' trust and continue to inspire them with their enthusiasm for altering homes and lives if they stick to regulations and place a renewed emphasis on quality.